Welcome to my channel. This is Mario Lloyd, also known as Real Estate Guru PK. On this channel, we talk about my real estate endeavors. We also have the top real estate producers and the top entrepreneurs in the country. Be sure to click the link below with Justin P. with his Support Black Colleges marketing course. Also with Jason White's Crack the Code affiliate link, click that below as well. Also to support the channel, Webull, M1 Finance, Chase, Discover, Robinhood, and Public, a stock trading app. We hope you enjoyed this episode. This is Real Estate Guru PK signing out. How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode. I have a special guest. She went from working at the post office to making $300,000 a year with Untitled Studio. Welcome, man.
Hi, thank you.
How you doing?
Fine.
So what do you want to start? You want to start at Louisiana, meeting your husband, or like your upbringing? You want to start right there?
Yeah, so I'm originally from the Shreveport, Louisiana area. So my husband, we were high school sweetheart, next door neighbors. Yes. That's how it started. He went to the military. I cried. I'm like, okay, see you later. You know, He's like, no, I'm gonna come back and get you. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And he actually came back and got me. Really? So I was in high school, 17 years old. He came back. And we got married. I was still in high school. He went back to basic training, and he came back and got me. So we've been traveling and rolling ever since then.
So you said you had your first job overseas, correct?
Yes, my first job was at this place called Stars and Stripes. It was a magazine, newspaper place I was doing. They shipping and handling. I remember that in Germany.
So you stayed like in a warehouse? Correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And my first job in Houston was actually at Burger King.
Burger King?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my first job. So I started from the bottom, just tell people can't be ashamed or embarrassed or willing to work. So that was my first job here. I didn't care. I needed to work. I'm always willing to learn. So Burger King, that was my first job. So
all this time your husband is working as he's working doing the cranes and everything.
Yeah, when he first got to Houston, he worked at the prison. Then he leveled up from there and then started working on cranes and been working on cranes ever since.
Okay.
Overhead cranes technician.
And so you don't want him working on the cranes, correct?
No, I'm trying to get him to retire so he can just stay home and be safe and just travel with me and help out with the family business.
Why haven't you just retired him? Like, hey, you got to start working.
No, he's a real man, a country man. He's like, nah, I ain't ready to do that. So eventually he will, hopefully.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
So you said, let's talk about the surgeries. So you got hurt working at the post office.
Yes, I was working at the post office for 13 years, picking up y'all heavy Sears catalogs and fixing her catalogs during the holidays, and eventually kept herniating my disc. So I had 4 surgeries. So the 4th one, they were like, okay, if you keep working here, if you mess up another disc, you're going to be paralyzed. A lot of folks don't know that. One bad fall, you're going to be paralyzed. Pick up anything heavy, you're going to be paralyzed. So I had to retire and get disability from that.
So you said you were depressed. How long did that depression last?
4 back surgeries, years. Because every time I had surgery, I was out for like 6-7 months. So I'm literally like honestly laying on my back, like crying. Big neck brace on, just laying there like this, going to physical therapy and just praying to God, like if you just let me be able to walk again. I couldn't walk. I was actually crawling. Folks don't know that either because I don't talk about it. I was actually crawling because I couldn't walk. So I'm like, God, if you fix me, I'm gonna just live my life. I'm gonna always be active. I'm going to live my life. So once I had the 4th one, and the doctor said, okay, what you gonna do? You gonna go back? Are you gonna what you gonna do? I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna retire. So ever since then, that was in 2009. 2009?
So that was like a little bit over 10 years ago?
Yeah, 2009. I retired. I'm like, okay, what I'm gonna do now? I'm retired. Sit here, eat buns all day. Got over 200 some pounds. I'm on 300 pounds. I'm like, okay, what I'm gonna do now? And I just started playing in nail art because I'm like, okay, I love my nails. I kept going to get my nails done. I kept being dissatisfied. I'm like, okay, I got time. I figure it out myself. So that's what I did.
So when you were like on your back, like your kids were like helping you.
Oh yes.
Supportive.
And actually, my son, which is my director and my instructor at the school, that was my first time. I said, okay, I'm going to give him a cell phone so I can text him in the middle of the night to come help me get out of the bed to go use the restroom. Because my husband worked at nights, and I didn't want to bother him. So I'm like, okay, I couldn't get up by myself. So I can't remember how old he was, but I gave him his first cell phone. I said, boy, this is for you to answer if I need you in the middle of the night. So he got up and helped me go to the bathroom and come back. So.
How old was he during that?
I think he was maybe 10. 10? I want to say, I'm kind of bad with numbers. A lot been going on.
10 is fine.
Yeah.
Say 10.
Yeah.
And then how old was your daughter? She wasn't born yet? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're hurt, and then you started doing nails. So you started like researching like how to be a nail tech?
Yes. So when I got tired of them messing up my nails at the nail salon, I'm like, you know what, I'm retired. Let me figure it out myself. So I started going on YouTube, Google, and just looking at videos, playing, in my bedroom, in my vanity, in my garage, figuring it out, trial and error. I'm like, okay, I can do my own nails, save a little money. So I just kept doing it, and I got good at it. So basically, everywhere I went, people would stop me. Oh my God, who did your nails? I'm like, me. Oh my God, where do you work? Nowhere. Why? So I do my own nails. Where you doing it? Out of my bedroom. Can you do mine? No. It was every day, honestly. I'm like, they be like, why not? I don't do nails. It's just a hobby. So my husband saw something in me. He's like, you know what? And I didn't know at the time, but I will never forget. We were sitting down. I started getting all these phone calls and emails from nail schools.
Oh, really?
Like, why are these people calling me? I'm like, who are these people? Who are these people?
Schools or schools. People to hire you? Schools?
Oh, schools.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, I put your name on this website.
Oh, really? Oh, that's nice.
I said, what? He said, y'all put your name on this website for schools. I said, for what? He said, go to school. You might as well. You good at it. People want you to do nails. You actually like it. Look into it. I'm like, nah, I ain't got time to go to school. And I'm like, well, actually, I do. Might as well look into it. So I looked into it. And he enrolled me in school. Got my license. Came back home. Started doing nails. Still in my house. And folks, the same thing kept happening. Where do you do nails at? Nowhere. Can you do my nails? No. Why not? Because I don't do nails nowhere. It's just a hobby. Mm-hmm. So I started, I went to my my hairstylist at the time. And she went out the first part of her salon to me.
Oh, really? For how much?
It was only $300 a month.
Really?
A blessing. I'm like, for real, girl? She's like, yeah.
So what year? This is 2009 or 2010?
That was in 2014.
Oh, so... Wow,
straight from nail school, straight to working in her hair salon.
Okay, can we talk about nail school a little bit? How was that? How was that?
That was actually kind of scary.
Oh, really?
So after I graduated from nail school and started working, at the time everybody was like, oh my God, you do nails so good. Can you show me how to do nails? So I'm like, okay, now be to not doing nails, but show me how. I'm like, no. So it was another pattern. Oh my God, you do nails so good. Do you do classes? I'm like, no. So my husband was paying attention again. He was like, you know what? Why don't you stand out? Go teach. Everybody, because at that time, 2015, 16, everybody was doing classes. That was like the main thing on Instagram. Everybody doing one-on-one classes. And folks was asking me, I'm like, no. I'm a Virgo. I'm like, everybody named mama doing class. I ain't doing that.
How long did it take you to graduate from nail school?
Nail school, it was 600 hours. So I got done in a couple of months.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not bad at all,
How much did they charge you?
I paid, at that time, 2014, right at almost $9,000.
$9,000?
Exactly.
So you got like a loan or you had it?
Yeah, I got a loan back then because I had retired. So I had got some grants and stuff.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah. So when I got
still a lot though.
Exactly, compared to what I'm charging now. This is only $5,000. It's cheaper. Your license, $600.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, so after that, everybody was at that time the trend was teaching. Everybody was doing classes. Right. Nobody wanted to go to school. They wanted to just teach me how to do nails. Can you teach me how to do shape, how to do this, how to do that? And I'm like, I ain't doing all that. And my husband said, you know what, stand out. Everybody doing classes. You can stand out and be a teacher. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what you talking about? So again, he did the same thing. Put my information without me knowing in websites to go to school to be an instructor. So they started calling me, and I'm like, okay, you did it again. So I went back to school to be an instructor.
So like, where's your husband getting this information from?
Basically just watching me because we talked about it once before. He said, well, I know you. Like, you're not the type to sit at home. I'm not. You're not the type to sit at home and be bored.
Like a doer.
Like, I see something in you. Like, you actually have potential. You're not the type to sit at home, be bored, playing your nails all day. Go out and you can do more than that. I see something in you. Mm-hmm. So it was him that pushed me and enrolled me in both schools to go out and do that. So here I am now.
Okay, so when do you get on Instagram? Like what year did you get on Instagram?
Actually, in nail school, 2014. 14? I realized that it was a community of people that look like me doing nails. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's not just, Asians or whatever. I'm like, we doing this too? And I'm like, wow. And I've been hooked ever since. 2014 is when I found Instagram and started getting out, promoting myself on Instagram, showing what I can do, and that's when the clients came.
And then you hear about Millionaire Barber.
Yes. I heard about Millionaire Barber actually in 2016. I was renting a suite in this office building, and this lady, she just kept telling me, yeah, I do this, I do that. I know Millionaire Barber. I'm like, okay, I heard this man's name like 900 times. Wow, y'all tell me about a barber. I don't cut hair.
When was the first time you heard his name?
Because I heard his name was around 2016. Okay. I was renting the suite from this lady named Miss Velma. And she just kept saying, I know Millionaire Barber. And I'm like, okay, wow, this like the 10th time you said this name. And I'm the type that I know how to listen to the universe. Like, who's this guy? So I researched him. I'm like, oh, he know how to open schools. He had people open up schools. So that's what she was trying to tell me. That, because she saw something in me also. Like, you can be a teacher, you can have your own school, because I didn't see that. So she was basically telling me that, and I didn't realize it. So now I researched him. I saw what he do. I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, fine, whatever. So I went back to start doing nails, and then I went to instructor school 2017. And all that time, he was watching me, and I didn't know it.
Oh, really? On Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I never forget the day I graduated. I think the next day he DM'd me on Instagram and said, hey, I'm Millionaire Barber. I'm like, okay. Okay, God. This guy named again. Let me sit down and see what's going on. Mm-hmm. So he was telling me, I've been watching you all this time. You have potential. Mm-hmm. You ready? Let me know. I'm like, okay. Listen to the universe. Let me see what's going on. Mm-hmm. So I reached back out to him, and that's how it all started.
So you talked to him, and then by this time you're making money doing nails, correct?
Yeah, not a lot. I was just doing it because I was just be doing something. I wasn't making a lot of money. Maybe $100 a day, if that.
But I mean, you still
couple days a week.
You paying $300 a month.
Yeah,
still making pretty good money.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
That's a little bit. That's a little bit.
Yeah,
of money.
Yeah. It kept me busy because again, I retired. I could my back and stuff. I'm still healing from surgery, so I'm just sitting down, polishing nails or whatever, just keeping busy, basically.
So who gave you the inclination? Like, I could own my own school, like
Millionaire Barber.
Millionaire Barber.
Yes.
Okay.
So I sat down one day, I never forgot. I said, okay, let me see who this guy is. I done heard his name 100 times. He in my DM. I'm nervous. I'm like, okay, this is a millionaire. I'm like, okay, let me, what's going on? So I researched him, saw what he did. I'm like, okay. So I told my husband about him. I'm like, okay, now this guy's talking to open up a school. Who's this guy? I'm like, okay, I researched him. I trust him. What you think? My husband said, okay, let's do it. Didn't think twice about it. We just did it.
You think that was the best investment of your life? Or one of them?
Is what?
You think that was one of the best investments of your life?
Yes, of course.
And how much was it?
I paid like $10,000. Did over $10,000 at the point.
Okay, and then when did you make your first 6 figures?
I made my first 6 figures in 2020.
20? January,
I opened up my first my open house orientation. Yes, that was January the 6th. I enrolled my first group. So 2020, I hit 6 figures.
6 figures, and then you made over
Over 350,000.
350,000.
2021.
21. What are you projecting this year?
Close to $1 million.
Close to $1 million.
I'm putting it out there.
Okay.
That's what I'm working towards.
And when did your kids start working for you?
My son actually started working for me 2021. So I realized, okay, I can't do this by myself. I was the only, of course, I'm the instructor, so I'm the only teacher at my school. I'm trying to do teach, trying to do paperwork, their orientation. I'm like, okay, I need help. And my son is really smart. Mm-hmm. So he was working for this flooring company at the time. I'm like, okay. He was already helping me on the side for free. I'm like, okay, I need help. He's like, okay. I said, how much you making? He told me. I said, okay, I think I can match that.
Oh, really?
So he quit and came full time 2021. So he's the director. He's my full-time instructor when I'm not there and when I'm there. So it's a family business. So actually I enrolled him and my daughter to be a manicurist.
Really?
Because I saw something again, like my husband saw in me. I'm like, okay, I need y'all to be manicurists. My daughter cried, Mommy, I don't want to do nails. I said, girl, you ain't going to do no nails. You're going to be an instructor one day. I can make you an instructor. I do have a license through Texas to make anyone an instructor.
Okay.
So I'm like, I need y'all to be teachers one day. When I ain't here, I can do this forever. I'm thinking ahead.
Did your son go to college or he go to school for anything?
No, he was in the Navy for a couple of years and he got out.
Oh, like his dad?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
my husband's in the Army. My son went to the Navy, and then my daughter actually went to the Army also.
Oh, really?
But she didn't like it, so she got out.
Can we talk about your upbringing, like in Louisiana?
Yeah.
How was that?
Just a traditional country girl from the Shreveport, Louisiana area. The oldest of 4 kids.
4 kids.
Just going to high school, hated high school. That's when my husband, of course, we met. Just day by day, graduated. Just courting, going together. I'm like, okay, what's next? What we gonna do? Wait, I'm going to the military. I'm like, okay, I'm going to. I was actually going to join the Marines.
Oh, really?
I was.
The Marines?
I was. He was like, nah. I say, I ain't going to stay in this little country town. I'm going to do something. I ain't know what. I said, I'm doing something. He's like, no, I'm going to the Army. You stay here. I'm going to go to the Army. I'm going to come back and get you. I'm like, yeah, right. But he came back. Kept his promise. So that's how it all started.
And your mom was cool with y'all getting married and all that?
Oh, yeah. He's 17 years old in high school. So basically his mom and my mom and his mom, they planned the whole wedding. I just showed up. I never forget his mom was like, okay, go get your hair pressed at 12 o'clock. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Try this dress on. Yes, ma'am.
So you were 17 or 18 when you got married?
I was 17.
17? Wow.
Got married in February and I graduated high school in May 1986.
1986? 1986? I was born.
Oh, my God. Showing my age. But, yeah.
So like, how do you like Houston so far? Like, so like, compare, like, do you think you could have took your business or started doing tech in Louisiana, or you think you only could do that because you're in Houston?
Here in Houston.
Houston?
Yeah, it was more opportunities here. That's why we moved here.
Okay.
Cause when he he came back and got me. We traveled, went to Germany. That's where my son was born. We stayed in Kentucky, different places. And then he got out because they wasn't promoted in his field at that time. So we came back to Louisiana and realized
there's nothing there.
I don't think we're gonna stay here. We're gonna get in trouble. No, really racist.
Oh, really?
And so he had an aunt that stayed here and say, hey, y'all can come here. See how you like it here. So we came and stayed with her. And my first job was Burger King. I'm like, okay. And he started working for the prison. And ever since then, we've been here. That was like in 1990, 1991.
1990, 91?
Yeah, so this is home.
Okay. So you made your when did you know like this was for you, like that you made it?
Actually, I tell this story sometimes. I knew that this was my field when I saw my guardian angel. I know a lot of people talk about it, but it is real. Because at the time I was in nail school and I was still, just playing in nails. And I never forget, it's a true story. I came out of Kroger. I was going into Kroger one day I saw this white lady walk up towards me, and she was looking like she was homeless. I never forget. She had on like some baggy, dirty clothes, long stringy hair. She walked up to me, and I'm like, okay, what is she doing? She grabbed my hand, and she said, "Oh, these are pretty." And I get it a lot. I'm like, "Thank you." And she said, "You did these, huh?" I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." I mean, this dirty looking lady holding my hand. True story. I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "You're good at this." And she looked me dead in my eyes. She said, "That's your passion." I never heard that word before. Never. And I never forget, I heard a car horn honk. I looked away and I looked back. She was gone.
She was gone?
True story.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh my God. And ever since then, I never forgot that story. Really emotional, but I never forgot that. So ever since then, I've been going straight towards my passion. What she told me, the business of nails.
What was your first big purchase?
My first big purchase was my acrylic line. I was in instructor school, just sitting there reading my book, and I found my products, which was my pink acrylic and some liquid. That was my first big purchase, and ever since then, I've been working on my own product line.
Oh yeah, tell me about your products.
Yeah, so I have my own product line. So I have a really high quality product line, which is the nail acrylic, color acrylics, the monomer, which is the liquid. I have other things coming, which is my own gel polish line, my own hand file line, cuticle bits. I have my full product line coming.
And then tell everybody about your courses in your school.
Yes, so the school, I'm on the north side of Houston, and I enroll now every 4 months. So February the 21st, if you see this, it's my next group starting.
Okay.
So every 4 months after that, I will be enrolling. And tuition is only $5,000.
That's it?
That's it for 600 hours, and you can be done in 3.5 to 4 months.
Okay.
And because of the pandemic, which is unheard of, they approved schools to have an online system, and every school don't have an online school. So my daughter made me a Texas-approved online school where they can get their hours and learn online if they can't come inside. So yeah.
Tell us about your most successful mentees.
My most successful mentees is a lot of students enroll in my school because not only do they want to be a nail technician, manicurist, they want to have their own nail salon.
Correct.
And that's not a part of my curriculum, but they see the potential in doing it because they know I'm going to always go above and beyond.
Correct.
So when I see that they want it, I mentor them, enough to go out and get their license, of course, and then they go out and get their own nail salon. Sometimes they reach back out and hire me, and I help them, do a lot of other stuff in the salon to make sure they get approved. But yeah, people come to me because they want to have their own nail salon, and they know that they can do it with my help.
Do you feel like this industry is getting too saturated, or you feel like it's plenty for everyone?
Oh, it's plenty for everyone. That's why I tell people, if you sit back and be like, oh my God, because it's millions of nail technicians, and I'm in Harris County, the biggest county in Houston.
Correct.
So you can feel, overwhelmed at certain times, but I tell people, look at me. You have to keep pushing. You have to show up. People have to know who you are. So you can't just say, okay, I do nails. Okay, what you do different? You got to go live, like I was saying earlier. You have to go live, let them know what you do, who you are, where you at. And even though the pandemic is, here, it's not going anywhere, you can't let that stop you. You have to still go out and do what I do, travel and network. Be safe, of course, but you can't stop. You have to get out and show people who you are.
So if there's somebody that's like in a depression, they in a funk, what do you have to say to those people?
Get up, put your lipstick on, comb your hair, and get out and network.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to. You got to keep going.
I'm gonna do my questionnaire and that'll be it. Okay. Salon or barbershop?
Salon.
Salon. Okay. Commercial building or house?
Commercial building.
2 million followers or a nail studio?
Nail studio.
Nail studio? Okay. 850 credit score or $1 million?
850 credit score.
850 credit score. Millionaire barber or Atlanta hair doctor?
Millionaire barber.
Shreveport or Houston?
Houston.
Texas or Louisiana?
Texas.
Texas? Okay. Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.